You are listening to a Cult Talk Network podcast.
From every ill of life have I preserved thee to this day. And shall I see thee made but serve. Duermerte, niño, sleep, child, duermerte ya, y por eso que viene el Coco y te comerá. Coco will come and eat you. Children, have you ever met the Boogeyman before? No, of course you haven't. Well, you're much too good, I'm sure. Hush, hush, hush. Here comes the Boogeyman. Here comes the Boogeyman. Here comes the Boogeyman.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Cult of Lore. I'm Eric.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Jerry. And today we are going to be talking about the lore of the Boogeyman.
And other child snatchers.
Yeah. Well done. As part of our ongoing Cult of Lore celebration of Cultober, brought to you by Cult Talk Net.
Yeah, this episode, the title of this episode really gave Eric fits.
Oh, I was so nervous about it.
I wanted to just call it straight up Child Snatchers, and everybody we sourced about that title of the episode had the same reaction, and it was exactly the reaction I was looking for. I don't understand.
Just everyone going, huh.
And I went, perfect.
And then I went, Ben, work with me here. So, I'm sweating just thinking about it.
Yeah, he was.
It's nerve-wracking.
He's like, we cannot have an episode just called Child Snatchers.
So, Ben worked with me on this tightrope of a topic. Title for a topic.
Yeah. So, yeah, as you have figured out, I'm going to be covering the Boogeyman, and each one of us are going to be covering a monster or a mystical horror figure that specializes in kidnapping or taking away, eating, whatever, vanishing small children.
Yes.
And I'll tell you the reason why I decided to do this episode. I'm a big fan of Stephen King's It. I want to say in all of its forms, I like the book. I've read it twice. The original TV show version with Tim Curry, and I like part 1 of the new one. I did not care for part 2.
Gotcha.
They took way too many liberties. But nevertheless, Stephen King's It is a story that often is sitting on my mind. And one of the things that I always notice when this story is divided is that the child part of the story, when the characters are young, that's the best part.
Right.
That's when it as a story really shines.
Yeah. It's the monster at its most terrifying.
Yeah. And it's not just that they are kids fighting this monster, but it's because the monster specifically targets the kids.
Right.
And so I really think the idea of that really makes things horrific.
Yeah.
Not just because of the innocence, but also the sense of helplessness.
Oh, yeah.
And it's also universal. There's nobody that has proper functioning mental faculties that can't empathize with a scared child because you have been a scared child at some point.
Right. Yeah. That's a good point.
And whether you have a broken home or a functioning home, which means, when you were afraid, you were able to go to your parent and they were to help you, or you were afraid of something and you went to your parent and they didn't help you, you can relate or imagine what it would be like to be left alone to face this thing.
Something that is so evil or horrible that it will harm even a child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not just will harm, but specializes in that.
Goes out of its way to
target children. Yeah.
Ugh. Very
And then-
horrific. Well, it is spooky season.
It is spooky season. And of course, as we are adults, there's few things that ruffle the jimmies, to parlay a usage from another YouTuber. Go check out Roanoke Gaming.
Yeah.
There's few things that ruffle the jimmies of an adult more than being attacked than a child under duress.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So it just seemed like a fitting, if slightly nerve-wracking thing to cover.
Yeah, again, 'tis the season for just horrificness too and spookiness. So here we go.
Here we are, sweating and
Yeah,
concerned.
just
and-
At least one of us
already
is.
fucking I just this is just such an uncomfortable thing. Like nobody likes kids getting harmed or disappearing or anybody being eaten, but children, it's just the worst conceptually. Like,
Oh yeah,
ugh,
for sure.
yeah.
I mean, it only happens to kids that don't listen.
I mean that is probably
Yeah,
a
but
theme that's
no
going to keep
kid
coming
listens.
up. Yeah,
No kid
no
listens.
kid
That's the
does.
scary part.
That is, we're all at risk.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
All right, well, I'll go ahead and kick things off. I am covering The Boogeyman, the American classic, the one that everybody kind of the go-to,
Yeah.
the GOAT, although he's not. He's a fairly modern invention when you look at the grand scheme of child snatching monsters or entities.
Okay.
The first kind of mention of the Boogeyman, which actually I am probably going to start referring to as the Bogeyman because that's more accurate.
Right.
I wasn't able to find what made us add the extra O to make it boogie rather than bogey.
Right.
But if I had to guess, it's probably a softening.
Yeah.
If you look at how stories involving child eating or snatching monsters go, they tend to get more graphic when you go back in time.
Yes.
And then
And then we soften them up.
we soften them up. Ripley's chasing a fly. So if you hear something that sounds like pouncing, it's the new elephant.
just get bigger and bigger.
Yep. But anyway, so my kind of theory is that we added the extra O to make it sound more goofy, to make it more. If somebody knows or has a counter argument, please. It's not an argument. I am by no means willing to stand up and defend this theory. This is just off the top of my brain.
Right.
But it feels to me like a softening of the story, along with the fact that with this kind of adoption of the double O, we also seem to have shed a lot of the details.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Like, we don't know what the bogey or bogeyman looks like. We don't really know what he does to children.
Huh.
There's a lot of this kind of softening to make it a more generic monster,
Okay.
which is interesting.
Yeah. So, in one argument you could make is that it leaves more up to the imagination of the child that's being told this boogeyman story, perhaps.
Yeah, it does. It allows the child's brain to fill in the gaps, but I do not believe that was intentional.
Okay. Just things were lost.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think they were shed. I
Oh.
think it was an intentional shedding to make it slightly less graphic.
Okay. That makes sense.
And I have a few people that I think were kind of the originators of the Boogeyman,
Hmm.
and of one of them we've actually already covered, so it's an alum here on Cult of Lore. But when you look at the stories of these characters, it makes a lot more sense
Okay.
that we would soften these. Anyway, the Bogeyman, not the Boogeyman, but the Bogeyman, the first reference that seems to be the 15th through the 10th century England. A lot of those records get kind of fuzzy, so whether it was the 15th century or the 10th century, but that era of England is where the Bogeyman first kind of appears. And bogue or to boog means terror or scarecrow, is kind of the original.
Okay. Scary man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It also ties with the bugbear, which, the bugbear is interesting. It's like an ethereal, it's almost like the Jotuns, where the bugbear elicits a very particular image in your mind because of the word bear.
Uh-huh.
But bear seems to be a stand-in for the word monster.
Huh. Okay.
Just a large, vicious animal.
Which does make sense to me. That does make sense to me.
So when they said bugbear, they didn't mean bear, they meant monster.
Okay.
So there seems to be kind of a running...
I love etymology. I wish that I knew more about it because it's so neat to me the way that words transform and evolve and change. Yeah.
So obviously the boogeyman is a monster that takes children, usually from under the bed, although closet is also another entry point.
Yep.
And attacks a child while they're sleeping and takes them off to their realm because they refuse to listen to their parents.
Aha. Okay.
Whatever rules they've set down. Now, I was looking at other creatures that kind of fit this, and I got to tell you, the ones that come close to me are like Slavic. When you start getting into like the Baba Roga and then Baba Yaga.
Ooh.
Okay.
So bug, bog, and swamp all kind of commingle together in meaning when you start getting into English. Not to mention you have the where did that EY come from? Well, with Yaga, you have the Y.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And then, so this is just me going way out on a limb here, just what I've observed. So like if the Baba Yaga also lives in a forest or a swamp. So I think kind of all of these misinterpretations came around from immigrants talking about Baba Yaga or the Baba Roga, which is like a cousin.
Okay.
Of this creature, this human-esque creature that lives in a swamp that terrorizes and kidnaps small children and eats them.
Huh.
And I feel like this all coalesced into the Boogeyman. And then as people moved from the forests and the wilderness areas into towns, like when it moved from the Slavic areas into more urban England areas, well, okay, if this thing comes from the bog or the swamp or the woods, who gives a shit? That's way out there. Well, now it comes from someplace else, the dark.
Somewhere closer.
Closer. And I think this all commingled into what we now know as the Boogeyman, which then made its way into America as the Boogeyman.
Okay.
Just my own pet. Well, again, there's not a lot there to the modern Boogeyman.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I was torn between my pick and something called a Grindylow, which it was interesting to tie there that you had with the bogs and stuff, because there's not much to the Grindylow, but there's other related creatures. They're all associated with water and kids drowning in it. So it was like used as a cautionary, like stay away from the water, keep the kids away from the water because then the Grindylow will drag them under. So that was one I was going to talk about. But I kind of lended to your point of like that, this happens if you don't listen. And the tie to water, too, also intrigued me.
Yeah, it was just a very interesting. So also I wanted to provide some good, what I consider to be good modern fictional interpretations of the Boogeyman.
Yes.
Obviously, just right off the rip, I've already mentioned it once before. So I would say Pennywise from Stephen King's It is a really good interpretation of the Boogeyman.
Great, like modern retelling of what a Boogeyman could be.
Yep. If I had to go with one, of the 3 iterations that we have of it, I would straight up honestly go with the Tim Curry TV show.
Mm-hmm.
The book, I love the book, but it does have some parts that you could skip.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, the drugs that man was on.
Yeah. So, there's that.
Yeah.
Another one. So there was a 2002, 2003 film that was called Boogeyman.
I feel like I know what you're talking about.
We watched it. You were watching it with us.
Oh, I was. I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah, 2023, The Boogeyman. It's not the greatest horror movie I've ever seen, but it actually wasn't bad.
Yeah.
And its interpretation of the Boogeyman was interesting.
Oh.
It was fairly good. It haunts, it plays with the closet and the door, or not door, the closet and the bed a lot more with the darkness and things like that. So that was a good one. And then for a curveball, I'm going to throw out Michael Myers from Halloween because Tommy refers to him as the Boogeyman.
The Boogeyman. Yes. And may I add to that list? I can't remember the name of it.
So no, you may not. Moving on.
When Darkness Falls?
No, that's the
It was a
Tooth Fairy.
kid's movie that I'm thinking of.
Oh, Don't Look Under the Bed. Is that the one with the imaginary friend that becomes...
No, but yes. That is a good one. Let's go with that one.
Yeah, it's a Disney original back in the day.
I loved that movie. Ooh, it was scary. And an imaginary friend started turning into a boogeyman. I thought that was such a neat, like, interpretation of it. Like how you get a boogeyman. That was cool. Anyway.
So another interesting kind of could possibly be another tangential connection to where because where did the gender change come from? Because Baba Yaga is female and then boogeyman.
Right.
So to the bug, boog to bug is to terrorize.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard when they're talking in Old English, have you ever heard them say that they've buggered someone?
Yes.
That, you know what that means?
Buggery is a crime.
Yeah, it's sexual assault.
Okay.
That's a lot of times perpetuated on children. So perhaps the boogeyman could have been a way the bugger man.
Oh
that's a good connection.
God, that is a good connection there.
A very early way of trying to conceptualize this horrific
thing that can
happen to kids.
Oh my God, that's a good reconstruction there, or theory, I'll say.
Yeah, that's one that I toyed with on the Darker Times. Researching this, I was
thinking about how the words shake out in their evolution,
and if you are trying to warn a child, if your ultimate is to try to warn a child of a concept,
just tell them that the stranger's going to eat you alive. Go away, run away. Yeah,
because even
whatever gets you away from it,
the specific, they would know that it's something to be feared.
Yes. And you can.
Yeah, that's the important part.
And it's a way of using the terminology, but not quite.
Yeah, interesting.
Again, these are all just way out of limbs, my own thoughts, having looked into the very scant available information on the bogeyman into the boogeyman.
Yeah, cool.
Anyway, who's next?
Who's next? Are you next or am I next, Jerry?
I could go.
All right.
I should say this episode, not that any of our episodes are monetized. This episode is demonetized and age restricted. So please give this one some extra attention and the thumbs up and thumbs likes because the likes and the shares and all that, because this one's going to get absolutely traumatized by the algorithm.
Yeah. It's just going to be like, I'm sorry, no.
Yeah, no, this one's not going to pop up in people's feeds automatically.
Yeah, fair enough.
For such a tame episode.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I have is the El-Cucuí.
The El-Cucuí.
El-Cucuí.
Which is like the Spanish boogeyman.
Interesting.
Oh, nice. I could go for a cup of cocoa right now.
Oh, yes. Is that this? Just what we just talked about? You're like, I'll take a cup of that.
Oh, no. I thought it meant the drink, Coco.
Coco.
He was giving us a break from the horrific.
That's cacao, you idiot. Shit.
Cacao. Coco probably comes from coconut.
Okay.
Which leads into Spanish coco, meaning skull and head.
Oh, that's not the kind of cocoa I was thinking of.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you really think this is going to end well?
Well, you see, there's some other names of this thing. And it's usually a variation of the vowels. So there's the coco, the coca, the cocuí, the cuckoo, the cuco, the cuca, the cucuí, and El-Cucuí, and the Coco Man, which is an anglicized version.
The Candy Man.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Fuck.
This thing is a mythical ghost-like monster from Spain and Portugal.
Okay.
So if I mess up my Spanish here, please forgive me.
Yeah.
I mean, based on that run of names, I'd say you're probably in pretty good shape.
These myths were passed down through Spanish-speaking people. And so when they originated there, they also were passed down to anywhere that speaks Spanish, like Latin America and Brazil because of the Portuguese. So in the Americas, there's also the Coco.
Okay.
Yeah, in Mexico, I found one that was called the Sac Man, El Halambre something. I'd have to look it up again, but it was kind of like that variation.
It's considered the Iberian bugbear. So Iberian Peninsula is the Spanish peninsula.
Right.
Yeah. And the bugbear, like you said, was like a
monster, not bear.
Right.
Yeah, and you could use it as a figure of speech for a irrational or exaggerated fear. That's going to be a real bugbear there. Right, I've got a bugbear on my shoulder kind of thing.
Okay, that is interesting.
So the Coco could be used interchangeably with that. So like that's their version of it.
Okay.
This is
Say
gonna
like
Coco me.
Yeah. I've got a real Coco about this, guys.
I did too much coca.
Wait.
Wait. This is
Just
different.
gonna Coco up my ass so hard. For some reason, I turned into Tony Montana there from Scarface. Love me in the morning.
Yeah, so it's a monster that kidnaps and usually eats children if they have misbehaved.
I see. Okay. Naturally. This misbehaving thing keeps coming up.
Yeah. It may eat the child whole, leaving no trace. So just vanished. The child is eaten. Or it may take it to a place of no return, undisclosed. You don't know where it's taken it.
So kidnapped or eaten.
I think I'd rather be eaten because I don't feel like it's going to take you anywhere good.
Right. It's probably not a very fun place. It takes you forever.
Now, it stalks you from the rooftops. It watches you.
See, now that's interesting because the boogeyman comes up from underneath.
Yeah.
Usually.
Beneath in the dark shadows. Yeah.
Now, they watch from the rooftops and they hide in the shadows in the form of shadows.
Huh.
So like when you're looking out your window at night and you just see the shadows on the rooftops, it could be any of those.
Could be a cow.
And they act more like the opposite of guardian angels because they're there to like punish you and not protect you.
Oh,
They really want to come and eat you.
They want to, yeah. Okay.
They want you to be bad so that they can
Be
come and
bad
get
so
you.
I can have an excuse to get dinner.
Yeah, there's another difference. The boogeyman seems to be kind of a neutral.
Yeah.
Just waiting for you to
He
fuck
just
up.
does what he does. Yeah.
Yeah, this one is more of an evil force.
I see.
And some see the El-Cucuí as representing the deceased of the local community. So that is like
Well, that's kind of a downer.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's like sort of vengeful members of the community.
Yeah, it's like, hey, remember Fred that passed away yesterday? And you were really nice to him and he like gave him a rocking chair and shit? He stole your kid.
Yep. Yep.
Thanks.
Just always been a bad neighbor.
Man.
Continues on even in death.
I like to imagine it was like a cranky old man and like the kids were throwing rocks at his house and he finally gets his revenge from beyond the grave.
Oh, there we go. It's a revenge story.
You throw rocks in my house, I'm going to kidnap you from life. Seems fair.
Dang kids.
So the first mention of something evil being called an El-Cucuí I saw was from like a 15th century play.
Okay.
Huh, interesting.
But that was just the name.
Right.
The actual Coco being referenced was from a 17th century nursery rhyme called Otto de los Dos Posorios de la Virgen by Juan Caches.
Well done.
Thank you.
I'm just going to say, yeah, went for it, did it. Good.
I don't know enough to tell whether you fucked that up or not.
Me
So-
neither,
Thank
but I
goodness.
appreciate the confidence.
I'm going to try some more.
Okay.
Yes.
So here's a
Do
lot.
we have an English translation? Of
I
the
do.
Okay,
I have
that's
an
good.
English translation, but the in the Spanish, it's Duermete niño, duermete ya, que viene el coco y te comerá. So that means sleep, child, sleep, or else Coco will come and eat you. So this was what they would say to their
Wow.
children. To
That is a
get them to go to
lovely
sleep.
lullaby. Sleep, child, or else.
Or else.
Yeah, but I gotta tell you, they really bitched out on the name.
Oh, the
Or
Coco.
Coco's gonna get you. Oh, is it? Yeah. Oh, well.
I know it's such a pleasant name for
Yeah.
such a
It is.
monster.
I know. It just makes me think of like a mug of hot chocolate. That's what I think of.
Some of the other lullabies ask the Coco to go to the roof and let the child sleep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's better.
Yeah.
Now,
Just wait up there.
here's a wild part. The Brazilian version of the Coco
Okay.
is depicted as a female humanoid alligator.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have a picture of that.
Yeah. Okay, good.
But seemed kind of out of left field. But then I got a little into the history of like the Coco. There's also a separation where it turns into like a dragon kind of thing.
And so that's like one of the. That's like where it
Yeah.
starts to divide
Yeah,
yeah.
Like main Coco is not normally described as this way.
as a
Ah.
lizard person.
Okay.
Sometimes it takes the shape of what a child fears most because it is a shapeshifter. So like,
there's the it connection.
and it's
Neat.
usually like a roof living animal, like a bat or an owl or an eagle or some sort of scary thing that
Okay.
would be able to be on a roof.
Very tied to the roofs. I wonder if that started as like a cautionary, like, don't go up on the roof where you could fall and break your neck. And the kid goes, nah, I can't. Well, Coco will get you.
Yeah.
So if you go up there. So
I could see that.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, just a quick theory.
Now, if you're wondering what a Coco looks like,
Yes.
it is generally a shape-shifting being and takes multiple shapes. But some shapes that it has taken, it's always horrible and terrifying to look at if you do see it.
Okay, right. Never pleasant.
Sometimes it's a hairy monster, which I think comes from the coconut origin.
Okay, yeah.
It has glowing red eyes you can see from the darkness.
Creepy.
A mouth full of razor-sharp teeth like a barracuda. If you've ever seen a barracuda, they have really rows of sharp teeth.
Yeah, like hooked too, aren't they?
Not the barracuda.
Not the barracuda? Okay.
Like pointy.
Yeah.
Long claws that are like knives. And sometimes an empty pumpkin for a head.
Oh, weird.
Yeah,
Well, that's
that one probably
interesting.
came in later at some point.
Okay, yeah. Because that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One large bat-like ear so it can listen for when the bad children are
Just
misbehaving.
one, huh?
Just
Yeah,
the
just
one?
the one. That surprised me too.
Ew, the lack of symmetry is kind of gross to
Yeah.
me. That thought, yeah.
Almost like the Grendel. It would come down from its den and come punish the noisy children.
Cool.
Interesting. I like it.
El-Cucuí.
El-Cucuí. Oh, wonderful.
Eric, what you got?
All right. So I was a little torn, but I ended up going with the Lamia.
The labia?
Lamia. Yes.
Lamia.
No, not the labia. No.
You see what that would be terrible.
No. But so we're going to go back to ancient Greece for this one. Back in ancient Greece, there was a story about a beautiful queen by the name of Lamia. And her beauty was quite renowned, and it caught the attention of Zeus.
Oh, no.
So Zeus does what Zeus does, and has an affair with Lamia. And in some cases, she's some versions, I think she's the daughter of the king, and in some cases, she's the husband of the king. Either way, it's not a great scenario. And she's got several children, in some cases from her marriage, in other cases from Zeus,
I
This
feel
story
like
has
it's
a few
probably
different versions.
I feel like it was probably the wife because I don't think like Zeus fucks with non-married women.
I mean, honestly, that's a great point. Marriage is no boundary for that man.
Oh no, it's an encouragement.
Yes. So, as often happens when Zeus finds human companions, Hera finds out. And Hera is jealous and vengeful. Very often in
Shocker.
these stories. So, naturally, she enacts a little bit of revenge on this woman, Lamia. Queen Lamia, that is. She either steals away Lamia's children, or kills Lamia's children, or induces a madness in Lamia so that she kills and eats her children.
Doing the old Hercules route. Huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's an oldie but a goodie.
Right.
It
So-
works. It works.
If it works, it works.
Why kill the kids when you can have the parents do it? I don't know.
Yeah. So
I-
I've,
That's so you can tell Zeus, I didn't kill them.
right.
What? Me kill kids? No.
Never.
No.
No. I'm the goddess of like marriage and stuff. I look out for kids. You should maybe pick better bitches. I don't
That sounds like a woman to me.
know.
Hey, we can say that. I've seen our demographics. We have 0 female listeners on Cultober.
Right. Yeah.
It's a sausage fest. It's a sausage fest here, fellas. Let it
Yep.
out.
Let it sizzle, boys.
Yep.
I hear it.
He-man, woman hater.
So, next after the loss of Lamia's children comes a transformation that leads to her. Okay, so it could either be the transformation leads to her killing and eating children, or her killing and eating children leads to her transformation. So, out of spite, resentment, and guilt and grief, and madness, probably, after she loses her kids, she just goes around and kills and eats the kids that she comes across, period.
Have you ever considered that maybe they're just that tasty?
They might be delicious for all I know. I plan to never find out, though.
That's what they said in Snowpiercer.
Is it? I must have missed that part or not seen Snowpiercer.
I've not seen Snowpiercer.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Should check it out.
Okay. Did they eat kids in it?
I don't want. Well,
No
spoiler
spoilers?
alert,
Okay.
I
Yeah.
guess.
It's all right. We'll cut that part out. No, we won't.
Baby back ribs?
See, think about it.
Some barbecue.
Tender.
Yeah. Delicious.
Tender
I mean,
garden.
I do like veal. Sorry, guys. No one cares.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Poor things, but veal is good.
No, I don't fucking care. Sheep are fucking stupid.
So.
Or no, that's cow.
No, veal is cow. Yeah, baby cow.
What's the sheep?
Sheep is lamb.
Lamb.
Yeah.
Lamb chops.
Lamb.
Yeah, it doesn't have a specific name, does it?
I think lambs are baby sheep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know, but you don't call a baby cow veal.
Oh, right.
A calf?
Yeah, it's a calf.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, no shit that it's called a lamb.
To me, everything that breathes is food. I don't know. I'm team Boogeyman here, except let's eat everybody.
There's got to be a word for it.
I understand that a baby sheep is called a lamb. That's why I was confused. I'm like, yeah.
What are you talking about, Eric?
You don't eat calf chops.
You don't eat calf chops.
Exactly.
Yes, veal comes from calf. Where was I?
What would you call chopped up baby? That's where we're at. That's what I want to know. Let's cut to the chase.
Jesus. Actually, instead of answering that question, let's move on. So, yeah, this transformation that I mentioned earlier that is associated now with her murdering and eating children, she is said to have either grown just like general, vague, horrific features like claws and teeth and stuff like that, and to be hideous to look at. Other depictions I've seen, which I think is more well known and more well depicted, is she's like got the bottom half of her body is a large serpent.
Oh,
yeah. So she's like half
kind of
snake.
Medusa-like.
Yes, very Medusa-like.
So there's two ways to look at this. Hera either was revisiting like her greatest hits, or she just got lazy on this day.
She's like, and another snake person. Go. Yeah. So.
Not even worthy of an OG attack.
Nope, not even worthy, which is funny because like I heard a lot of people that were talking about Lamia, like trying to express how like special the relationship between her and Zeus was. And I'm just kind of like, special? I don't think so. It's Zeus. He may have made her feel like it was a special thing, but like there was no
exclusive.
Yeah, they weren't exclusive. It's Zeus,
Yeah, not to mention, I mean, just what we just talked about. How special could their relationship been? Hera didn't even bust out the really good stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, she's just snake person again. She also apparently was cursed with either insomnia or the inability to close her eyes, so that she was always faced with the grief of losing her children and the guilt at what she's doing to other children. And Zeus's answer to this, great guy that he is like, oh, well, I'll give you the ability to take your own eyes out and put them back whenever you want. So that's how you can gain some really, never mind maybe getting her kids back to her or turning her human again. He's just like, I'll fix the eye thing. Well, I got this.
Well, they're his kids.
In one version of the story, yes.
Yeah, so if we're pro-choice here.
Maybe he's like, I got enough kids.
Yeah.
It's the little things.
Yeah, it's he also apparently gifted her with the ability, like the gift of prophecy. So,
yeah.
Next time you can see my wife coming.
Yeah. Should have shown a little more forethought, huh?
It's like a monkey's paw gift.
Yeah. So, that's basically how her life was thereafter. She became basically like a Greek boogeyman to warn naughty children to listen, not disobey. Otherwise Lamia gets you and eats you. Although in later versions, she also became more vampiric. So she became kind of a blood drinker and also maybe a bit more of a species rather than a singular being. So like, I don't know, the Lamia, whatever the plural version of that is in Greece, perhaps became a thing. And then from there also became more of a seductress of young men. And she would, seduce them in order to either eat them or drink their blood. So
she comes up to him and be like, I could take my eye out.
Yeah. Guess what you could do with that?
I got extra holes.
That's scarier than the story. So
there was one guy that's at least gonna press yes on that.
There always are the weird ones.
There's always at least one.
Yeah, he just opened a tab for Rule 34.
Yep. You're fucking right.
You know who you are. You're doing it right now. You're like, is that a Rule 34? I'm gonna look. How do you spell Lamia?
Lamia. I won't dissuade you from just corrupting your own fucking life. Heretic.
fucking dejins.
So yeah, that's the story I've got for you as far as Lamia goes. The just harlot that screwed Zeus and became a snaky
eye popping
monster that kills and eats kids or seduces and kills young men. Thanks, Greece.
Thanks, Zeus.
Yeah, thanks, Zeus. Yeah,
appreciate you.
But at the same time, you would think that Hera would try to strike at Zeus and not go after the women that don't know anything.
So I think, okay, what little I know there is Hera cannot, like Zeus is the mightiest of the gods.
Sure.
In a very literal sense. There's nothing she can really do to him directly. So she takes it out passive aggressively on the lovers, typically when he loses interest in them. So that's my interpretation.
Oh, that's showing him. Hey, you know this piece you don't care about anymore? I'm going to corrupt the shit out of it. Ooh, I bet you're not going to fuck it now. Ooh.
Exactly. And then, so
what
the
a
reason...
bitch.
And then...
It's a little too late.
It is. And then I believe the reason, because she's not the only one who has slept with him and then gone through a transformation of some sort.
Yeah, of course.
He won't undo the things that Hera does to them.
Because he doesn't give a shit about them.
And I think that's, either the case that he typically doesn't give a shit, because that's usually when she strikes, from what I've seen and read here.
Yeah, because she's like, if I do it when he cares, I'll get my ass whooped.
Yeah, but I also think that's kind of a thing among the gods, is they typically don't undo what another god has done. They may do other things that may mitigate it, but they never seem to
override the other's authority.
Exactly. At least that's been my observation. So I wonder why that is.
So remember how I said that either she was revisiting her greatest hits or she has a lack of imagination?
Right.
We now know that it's a lack of imagination. I do not believe. She's like, I can't do anything. I'm like, you can't put dog shit in his slippers. You can't do that. You can't misplace his lightning bolt when he's like
getting charge on him.
Yeah. You can't make it a negative instead of a positive. You can do literally nothing. Okay, sure. Whatever.
Get an imagination, Hera.
Yeah,
God.
it's just like, no, I'm gonna get that bitch. I'm gonna another is it dead children or snake? Which one is it? Tuesday or Wednesday? Which one?
Spin the wheel, snake again.
It's a wheel with two options.
Oh, dolphin legs.
She's like, no, that's not a snake. Take that off there.
Oh, wonderful.
No wonder he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
He's like, what's she gonna do? Turn them into snake people or kill their kids? Oh,
right,
no.
Like, oh, whatever. Yeah. Zeus don't give a fuck.
No, I mean, if we're talking like, you can't even bum out his day. What the fuck are we doing? Why are you even bothering to strike at all?
This is misplaced aggression.
It is misplaced aggression. That is why she's bothering.
Get a divorce.
Right?
Or you can't like no, I can't because I can't do anything against him, and if I divorce him, he might get depressed. So like that breaks the rules. So I'm stuck. Like what are like?
I don't know, because also I think if she wanted a divorce, Zeus could probably just say no, and then that, you know what I mean? I don't know. That's pure speculation, but like that's how high and mighty this dude is supposed to be. Or it could be she doesn't want to give up the power of being married to the most powerful Olympian.
Nah, gold digger with
could
no
be
imagination.
That. Could be gold diggers.
You heard it here first.
Wait, what? No,
Eric confirmed it. Hera's a punk ass bitch looking for money.
Shit.
He should have divorced her before she got his boxing belt.
Oh shit.
What a cunt.
You know, I was raised on, Hercules, the series, and
Kevin Sorbo.
Xena. Yeah, Kevin Sorbo, Herc.
Oh, Lindsay.
Shoot. Yeah. So, that's
Let us know if you're in the fuck Hera club.
Yeah. Do that. Oh God. Anyway. I mean, she turns people into child-eating monsters. How great could she be?
Child-eating snake people. She doesn't get that imaginative. It's not monsters,
You're right.
Just snake people.
Snake people.
Didn't make up her own monster.
Right.
No.
I didn't realize this episode would devolve into us roasting Hera.
Well, get good, bitch. Jesus Christ, you're a god, and that's what you got?
It's about time.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, she had it coming.
I think some of these lazy gods really should just start taking it in the teeth.
Oh, God.
You know what Jesus did? He pulled off his belt and went ham on a motherfucker.
That's true. He whipped people.
Yeah.
Into shape.
Yeah.
Yep. Jesus ain't no bitch. I'll
No.
say it. Yeah.
So, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's no wonder she went extinct. There ain't nobody worshiping her no more. Oh, what happens if you don't? Well, she turn me into stink person. Oh, you'll be like number 26. How special.
Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I think that's probably it for Child
Yeah,
Snatchers.
There we go. We did it. We did that episode. We'll see how that turns out. So thank you guys for listening. Be sure to leave us a like, pretty please, especially for this one, because dear God.
We're going to cover Hera eventually. It's going to...
Oh,
That's
God.
it. Hera is... Nobody's going to get this reference, but Hera is going to be the Cleveland of the Greek gods.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah.
I hate Cleveland.
You
We
do.
live in Ohio, and my favorite thing to do is just shit on Cleveland.
It's so true. And she probably is the Cleveland of the gods. Her or Hephaestus probably have they could probably compete for that title there.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We will. I'm sure we'll get there.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah. So, like, comment, what other, like, child-eating monsters did we not talk about today that we could talk about?
Get into
future
this.
episode.
Let us know some really horrific ones this Halloween.
Oh,
yeah, there you go. Ben would like that.
Make them mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are the mean ones? The
Get us
bloody
on some
ones,
lists.
The gruesome things. Oh, God.
Get us on all the lists.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
I want to knock on my door by a strange guy in a suit.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Lord.
Like, you're awful clean cut for this neighborhood.
I wouldn't leave that black SUV parked over there if I were you. Oh, there it goes.
You need a ride home, buddy?
You need to run home, buddy. You can read me my Miranda rights while I drive you there.
So where am I dropping you off? Langley? West Virginia? That's really far.
I'm gonna need some gas money.
Yeah. Yeah, so comment. Send us off on a spiel like that. I'm sure that'll be great. Some likes, subscribes if you really like this style of podcast, because this is what it is, man. We talk about crazy things and we go off on some tangents.
We're so stupid.
We are so stupid. We have a lot of fun, but we are stupid.
We have no business being on the air.
No, we don't, but here we are. So, some people like that.
We've got enough people to think we're entertaining.
Yeah. And, there's other shows through Cult Talk Net that could be just as entertaining to you, or it could be just as stupid to you.
Some of them are a little bit more serious. This one for an October episode
has gone a little off the rails, but that's okay. Because, Cultober is like our big thing. We celebrate Cultober. There's all sorts of Cultober things that you can check out. I think it has its own podcast channel, so you can find old Cultober stuff too. Has a lot to do with like horror movies.
Let us know
like
if there's some stuff you'd like us to do for the next Cultober.
Yeah. Yep. Because we're already starting to think about that.
Yeah, we're going to try to get into more like original fictional works as well. Some produced stuff, maybe directed and written by some of us.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yes. That's the dream, baby. Let's see what you think. And yeah, where was I at in the plugging things route?
So the last episode, you literally beat us to death with it, so I'm going to take it from here. So, so thank you for joining us on Cult of Lore. Follow us at Cult Talk Net on all of the podcasty things. You can do Cult Talks Conspiracy, which has my paramour Bailey and her co-host Ty, and they cover Karen's conspiracy things, including aliens, cockroaches, lizard people, and cryptids. There's Cult of Campbell, which covers Bruce Campbell movies, and we rate them based on how well he does, which makes no sense whatsoever. We have American Pie Slices, which is American Pie that is one scene at a time while Ty and Michael drink pie-flavored liqueurs and mixed drinks and tell you why they think that movie is worth spanking it to. And so next time, follow us every first and third Thursday of the month.
We swear.
Until next time, I'm Ben.
I'm Eric.
And hide your kids. Hide your wife. Because they're snatching everybody up in here.